Thank you. The chair will call Robert Tangway. Good morning, Mr. Tangway.
Morning, Senator Carson. Good to see you again. It's been a while.
It's been a little while.
You've helped me out before. What I'm passing out to all of you is criminal defamation at the State House by Governor Sununu. This right here is believed there's evidence that this was promulgated by the Domestic Violence Coalition. It says that I was ordered to have supervised visitation until I get a mental evaluation, and I refuse to do so, which is absolutely not true. And they know it, and Governor Sununu knows it too. On the other side is the letter of all the organizations I went to. I'm in support of this bill because it's constitutionally compliant. The way people are looking at the court system is completely wrong. It's not up to the state to decide what the best interest of the child. It's up to the parent. And a breaking up a family, which women do 70% of the time, initiate all divorces. And then you could also calculate how many times they get child support. Breaking up a family is abuse upon children. And if you look at the contractual law, if you decide to break up a business, which a family unit is the business of raising and rearing children, if you were to break up a family unit because you don't want to, except for abuse, obviously, because abuse is abuse, you would be causing a damage on the family unit. And we have candy buckets of child support, which is tax-free money, which gets awarded to women most of the time. And the women also get the children primarily. They're usually the person initiating the breakup, and they don't have any reason. And so when they bring up all these things about domestic violence, we're forgetting that the Judge Pauley case, the famous Judge Pauley case, the poor lady went to the police, was refused from the police. The Domestic Violence Coalition, she testified, by the way, it's on record. She went to the Domestic Violence Coalition, didn't show up to the final hearing. So the protection order got dismissed, the civil protection order, which the police didn't do the job. And then someone went to her work, the person protected, and shot her in the face and killed himself in front of her. Very traumatizing because the Domestic Violence Coalition didn't do what they said they were going to do. They also didn't take care of my issue. They invited me to their place and they didn't. And then they called the police on me and did an alarm and then tried to get the Concord police to interrupt me through the House of Representatives. And it's all on record. I have all these recordings. They're published. Governor Sununu knows about it. The Attorney General knows about it. The Special Committee knows about it. 50-50 is a good step towards this. I'm going to play a 1-minute clip of a domestic violence extension hearing. The judges don't follow the laws. Even if you give these laws and pass this, it's just a reminder to the judges on how they're supposed to perceive it. And it will actually prevent people from breaking up the family, which is supposed to be part of the grant money from Title 4D. It's action and law. I don't have that in front of me.
Mr. Tangway, before you play that, it's very, very difficult for us to actually hear that as you're playing it. Would you prefer to send it as a file?
No, I'd prefer to have it on the record, and I can make it.
Well, it'll be on the record if you send it to us. It's testimony. Okay.
You can hear it. I've done
That
this.
Heidi Ames is an appearance according to the Domestic Violence Court Protocol, and she is not allowed to participate in this hearing anything more than an advocate. I do not object to offers of proof, but I will be calling to the stand. I do have an issue with, as I put in the pleading, the court has not given me the reasons for the extension.
That's the purpose of today's hearing.
This is the judge.
But you already granted the extension. This court did, Judge Chabot did.
That's the procedure under the statute and the protocols. And this hearing is to determine whether the extension will go forward. That's why we're here.
Respectfully, Your Honor,
Yes.
I object on the record to that. This Law 173B extension states specifically that the court shall give reason or reasons. You've already granted the extension. The extension has been granted to offers of proof, but I do not object to offers
So-
of proof.
That judge was looking at a sworn affidavit by me stating the law, and then in writing, she still granted it. She granted a domestic violence protection order, no police contact, I haven't been arrested, was granted on physically and mathematically impossible findings of fact written by a judge, fraud. No. So when you have these people say that you're gonna break up a family, and as you have touched, Senator, as you have touched upon, but I feel like you ask only questions of the people who are advocates and actually paid lobbyists getting millions of dollars in grant money inappropriately. The police need to arrest on a crime. Breaking up a family is a crime. We're looking at it wrong. We're looking at it as if because you feel sad, one party feels sadder, they can do better, they can break the covenant of a family, which is the ultimate promise, the ultimate contract, even more than a marriage. And so you can't do that. You need to pass this bill because it accentuates 185. You also need to bring this defamation is from Governor Sununu's office by Jennifer Smith. And instead of taking any rectification, firing her, asking why she spread it and correcting it, they gave her a job on the insurance commission. They just moved her around. I'd be happy to take any questions. You guys need to pass this bill to remind people that the state should not get involved unless there's a conviction of domestic violence, which includes calling the police. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions, please?
Thank you very much for your testimony. Before I ask recognize Senator Abbas, would you send that audio to Mr. Shelzy so that he can get a verbatim transcript of what that said and include
Yes,
it in the
Senator
record?
Carson, I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for taking my question. You played an audio recording, and from what I understand, you may have been involved in a family law case. During those legal proceedings, were you represented by counsel at any point in time?
No, and the opposing counsel lied multiple times. They kind of bully you when they target self-represented pro se litigants, and they treat you like you don't know what you're talking about when you bring up the actual statutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just want to ask you a question. Are you aware of the fact that we now allow paralegals to work with people that are representing them themselves pro se in the court, in family court? So you would have had the opportunity to have one if you.
The idea is that the belief is that you can just call up 603 legal, but their website, one of the organization's websites doesn't even work and they don't respond to calls. Everybody in the state, and I appreciate that. I'm very aware. I've read all the statutes, criminal statutes. I'm very aware and articulate. The issue is that we have this idea that we have this justice. Family law is very difficult, so I will give you guys that. Family law is very difficult to understand. They say, what do you want us to do? Cut a child in half? Well, what do you want to do? Cut a finger off a child? It's the most intrinsic part of our soul, our children. And instead of deadbeat dads, we have beat dead dads, it feels like, or women. When women get hurt, it's because they're not as politically connected as men. And I've talked to a lot of women who have had issues. There's bias, and we have to deal with that. But to answer your question, yes, I'm aware, but it's not, in actuality, it's not like that. What they need to do is increase, I looked at the application to become a lawyer, and they need to lower the standards to become a lawyer and then have more disciplinary actions to bring the judges and the lawyers into compliance with the law, there's not enough lawyers, and it's kind of like a racket. They rent seek, especially off of family court cases. It's guaranteed money. People are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and barely being able to see their children. And it's on record. It's in Supreme Court. You'll see. And the only way you really get any justice is if you pay a large law firm to write your Supreme Court brief, because they break the law and send it to appeal. These people aren't wizards of laws. It's written clearly. This bill 185 is written very clearly. You're innocent until presumed guilty. You're innocent and should be able to have your child. And what we should actually be looking at is the contentious parent, which is the parent who breaks up or makes false accusations. Unless there's physical or sexual abuse, there's no reason, no realistic way to break up a family without causing damage to the children. And then when there's physical or sexual abuse, you arrest the individual, reform them, and keep them away from the family, and they're the ones who cause the damage. They're the ones who lose out on the family.
Thank you very much for your testimony, Mr. Tangway.
And I appreciate you guys. I feel heard finally. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair will call Jennifer, is it Pike?